Hi, this is Joe Carapino, Blue Crow Trading. The purpose of this video is to illustrate an example of how the analysts and reporters at major media companies that are reporting on futures, stock markets, forex markets are usually hard pressed to find an answer or a reason as to why price fluctuation takes place overnight, and how often analysts at these organizations get things wrong. Now, it's no surprise because no one has a crystal ball in the market and no one knows with precise accuracy what is going to be happening next. And all these market analysts and editors can do is reflect in the past and hopefully attach some factors or some reasons to try to explain what is happening in price action. So I want to pull over my webpage, my Twitter account here, on which I share on a daily basis links for articles that I find, and I want to go back to May the 23rd to reflect on some of the headlines that I put onto the Twitter account. So here's May the 23rd. Here's one headline from Bloomberg: U.S. index futures little changed before home sales data, and that I put out at 9:16. So there's one. Oh, let me go back down to May the 23rd. Okay, so that was one article that I mentioned from Bloomberg. Here's another one from MarketWatch. Stock futures are flat. Eyes on new home sales, HP indications, etc., etc. Another company, the Street, Market Hustle. Stock futures nudge higher ahead of new home sales data. So some are saying, oh, it's flat. Others are saying that it's nudging higher. So these two are sort of in congruence with each other. Here's another one. Stocks future point higher. GM recalls may continue through midsummer. Google developing new tablet. AM Business News. And then yet another one that I put out there on May the 23rd is stock futures narrowly higher. Foot Locker rises in Q1 results. Now, presumably everyone's looking at the same chart when they open up their computers in the morning, right, at these organizations. So why are some saying that it's nudging higher, yet others are saying that it's flat? Bewilders me most times. And here's the May the 23rd. And this is overnight action. This is a prior session on the 22nd. This is the 23rd on the next day. Overnight action all the way there, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Now, presumably most of these market analysts and writers and editors at these organizations, they arrive at work at around 8 a.m. Or even earlier, and what they have to look at on their charts that everyone in the world can see is the following. Is this price action over there up until about 8 a.m.? Okay, let's put it at 8 a.m. Just one more bar, and about there. I think that's good enough. Let's put it right there. So at 8 a.m., this is what everyone's looking at, assuming that everyone is writing at the same time. And I just looked at the publication times for each of these articles. They're all more or less clustered around this time. So they're all looking at this price action. Some are saying that it's nudging higher, which is correct. Others are saying that it's flat. Well, yeah, it's flat. There's a two-way auction taking place here, an era of consolidation. So there does seem to be a range-bound two-way auction taking place here. So some are saying it's nudging higher, others are flat, and it's just bewildering to an extent. So let's go back to analyze very quickly the structure of each of the articles that I mentioned. Usually there's two parts to what is being reported by these analysts, and consider this, that before the article is published, for example, Barbara's article here, it was reviewed by other analysts within MarketWatch. The editors also had a look at it. So this article is a result of groupthink. It's group psychology. It's group of individuals that have developed a consensus around the content that should be presented to readers, and this is what is being put out there. And there's a structure to all of these articles. There's the first part that relays what they see, and then the next is an attempt to explain why what they see is taking place. And there's always these two parts. So here's the first paragraph. It says futures Dow Jones Industrial rose 10 points, S&P index gained 1.6 points, and what I'm interested in is the futures for the NASDAQ 100 index rose 5.3 points to that. Their opening sort of the abstract, I guess, for the article states here, stock futures made a slight gains on Friday. Yet the title is stock futures are flat. So what will it be? Is it stock futures are flat, or is it stock futures made slight gains? Take your pick. And then the second part of the article is to explain what that writer is seeing. So here's the only economic data for investors is April new home sales due at 10 a.m. So that's a factor that is impacting what we are seeing here, according to the opinion of this person, Barbara. The other factor is data released Thursday showed existing home sales. So this is something that's happened retrospectively. So this is influencing what happened, what is currently happening. Friday session could be quieter. And then she includes here an interview with a guy, Chris Bokamp, analyst at IG, giving us some information which is wholly incorrect and certainly of zero assistance. And if one looks at, for example, here, he mentions, he also said that given the sluggish activity in the U.S. stock futures, the elusive 1900 level for the S&P 500 may be a step too far for markets. Well, okay, rubbish. We know that that didn't happen, and that the 1900 level was breached in the Emini S&P 500 yesterday. So, sorry, Chris, incorrect analysis. So that was what the MarketWatch folks put out there. The next is the folks at the street. Market Hustle stock futures are nudging higher. This was on May the 23rd at 8:42 a.m. As people get into the office, they punch in these this article. They reflect on what they're seeing. NASDAQ futures were up 4 points, 2.74. Stock futures are pointing higher in what's expected to be a lighter session before Memorial Day. And then they give us 3 bullet points, or actually quite a few more, of possible factors that are impacting what is happening right now. New home sales, U.S. markets closed higher on Thursday as key discretionary retails beat earnings. Okay, thank you very much. Societe Generale strategists have noted that since 1969, 1% or more, tralala, tralala, tralala. Okay, thank you very much. It's as though SG's opinion is important in forecasting market projection or explaining what is happening right now in the market. Foot Locker, this is what happened to them. HP, the Hong Kong Hang Seng settled 0.05% on the other side of the world, and overnight showed a bigger than expected fall in the German Business Confidence Index. So if you believe that the market is bullish, stock futures were pointing higher, then take your pick. These are 6 possible answers, 7 possible factors that could be explaining it, the reason for the current price action. And does this person or does Barbara have any idea as to what is going to happen next in the market? Well, certainly not. However, a large amount, hundreds upon thousands of people are reading these articles and making decisions based on these articles as to what's going to be happening in the future. And I certainly hope that you're not one of them, and that you're using this gauge as market sentiment, as group psychology, in order not to be trapped in trades, particularly at the open. A third article, this was by Alan Elliott, stock futures narrowly higher. These are the guys at investors.com. So again, the first part of the article is NASDAQ futures traded 4 points above fair market value. S&P was up. Small caps, Russells was up. And here comes the second part of the article explaining why things are up. Politics are center stage, we are told, as the market heads into a 3-day weekend. Parliamentary elections underway in the European Union. Presidential elections scheduling tightly wrought Ukraine, so the Ukraine is still featuring as a major issue. In Asia, on the other side of the world, Thailand's military coup, rising conflict between Vietnam and China, etc., etc. So those are the reasons that Alan thought that may contextualize what is happening. Well, none of these factors bear any relevance whatsoever to price action. Price action moves because of decisions, correct and incorrect decisions that are made by retail and institutional traders throughout the day on an intraday basis, and with institutional investors targeting very specific levels as price fluctuates. So should these opinions by market analysts and editors at these papers be used as tradable tradable indicators or tradable instructions? Certainly not. They're only a very useful way of trying to understand what the group psychology is, because if they're putting out information out here, it means that this news is already very old news. However, it means that inevitably many hundreds and thousands of retail investors and traders are going to be using this information in order to reinforce group psychology and make them think in a particular way in order to make them trade in a particular way. And that's why I enjoy looking at this. So that's a wrap up on this side. Thanks so much for listening. All the best in your trading. Take care. Bye.